Thanks for joining us. Many of you have probably heard of Oklahoma's State of Creativity project. It's an effort to spur creative applications to topics as varied as music, economics, healthcare, and education. Kyle Dillingham is a well-known Metro musician. His group, Horseshoe Road, has been a staple of the Metro music scene for many years. He's also an ambassador in residence for the University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond. Dr. Dennis Dunham is UCO's Executive Director of International Affairs. They both joined me today to talk about Oklahoma's role as an international center for creativity. And I am so pleased to have you both here today.
Thank you.
And you two really make quite a team.
Yes, we do. Well,
but you know what? On the surface, to our audience, it might seem, well, how do these goals mix international understanding, international studies, and you musician extraordinaire? So why don't you give us an idea of how you fit together and how you came together?
well, basically, I have been promoting international education to many countries for many years, and ultimately I ran into Kyle, and
that's always dangerous.
That was very, very dangerous. And it had always been my goal to have a musical diplomacy program. And I had taken some musicals overseas and things like that. They were pretty big productions. But when I ran into Kyle, boy, he was so talented. He could do so many things.
And I could fit in the back of a taxi.
That was the key. That was an important key.
You are pretty nimble, from what I remember.
So we wound up traveling to over 25 countries and promoting international education.
For the state of Oklahoma.
For the state of Oklahoma, exactly.
And this had to be a dream come true for you.
Well, it was, Jerry. I learned very quickly that I really enjoyed traveling and seeing other countries, and to be able to do it, but also doing my music, which is my passion, really developed quickly into a career of musical diplomacy, and which really came in handy for such things as celebrating the centennial and now helping the University of Central Oklahoma in my new role to help develop new overseas partnerships and making those connections so that not just the students that have for a long time been coming to Oklahoma from other countries, but for Oklahoma students to make it to these other countries.
And isn't that really where the word creativity fits in here? I think we need to keep reminding people that these topics are, in essence, creative in themselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. We basically we took something, we used music to teach, to develop relations. We didn't go overseas to promote music. We went overseas to use music as the international language to bring people together.
That's right.
All right, let's get more specific now. When you said you went overseas to promote music and understanding, you have thousands of students you can talk about here.
That's right. That's right. Yes. I kind of sat down with a staff member and we started calculating, but I suppose that the team that I have led in the last 20 years, that we have brought in well over 10,000 international students to Oklahoma.
And reciprocity is what it's all about. We're going to talk about the center that you've established in a minute. But Kyle, you keep talking about becoming a musical diplomat, and I know you have experiences that really illustrate that. And you've got that fiddle sitting right there, so I want you to tell a story about what you told me earlier about the Saudi embassy and what happened there.
We were really wanting to open up the relations between Oklahoma and the Saudi Cultural Mission in Washington, D.C. They place Saudi students in universities across the United States.
So you were there.
I was there with Dennis, and we were in one of these formal meetings outlining the university and the programs, and somebody just suspiciously said, "You don't look like a professor or a..." And
I wonder why they said
And he
that.
said, "What do you have in this case, by the way?" And I replied with the Arabic word for violin, which is kamanja. And he said, "Oh, really? Would
That
you
about
mind
blew him
playing?"
away, right?
So I pulled it out and did a little something like this.
My my goodness. And
They
what
began
happened?
running out of
They
the
were
office.
clapping
Everybody
and
was
jumping
running and clapping,
Yeah.
and crying.
The cultural attaché came
Yes.
from the back, the important office, and came out and said, who is playing? Who is playing? And he said, it cannot be you. He said, if I look at you, I can't believe it, because when I hear it, I think it's got to be a professional violinist from Cairo.
Oh, what a great story, and what a great illustration of the language, the universal language
And
of
the
music.
bottom line is University of Central Oklahoma had 39 Saudi students
Oh, wow.
the next semester.
Okay, and that brings us to two very important
Yes.
things, one musical and one not. UCO's Center for Global Competence
right.
and what it's doing, and the Argosy Overture, which celebrated the center's first anniversary. So we don't have a whole lot of time left, but tell us what the center does, Dennis, and then you tell us about Argosy quickly.
Sure. Well, basically, the center, the center is the Center for Global Competency is an opportunity for Americans to have the same types of opportunities which our international students have. And so what we did is we got the community leaders together and faculty, staff. We asked, what do we want to help students become globally competent? One of the things we're looking at is particularly Oklahomans, because there's a lot of small town Oklahomans that need this type of help. And basically what we decided is they want academic classes, they want foreign language, they want but they also need an experience overseas. And finally, one of the most important elements that we have added to this is a connection with the international community here.
So these students basically learn foreign languages, interact
Right.
abroad
That's
and
right.
locally, and wind up certified.
Certified, CGC 2020
fantastic.
certification.
All right, the Argosy Overture. We're going to hear,
Basically.
by the way, a little bit of it at the end, but tell us how it connects.
Well, it connects in a very creative way. It basically, Dennis took the arching mission of the new Center for Global Competency and related it to a personal story of his life. And basically an individual global explorer going out, seeking whatever it is they're seeking, education, seeking to connect, seeking commerce, and watching how through their experiences they become transformed and come back, and they're something totally new.
All right,
and
as
a,
I
and a great asset to our state.
promised everybody that at the end of the program we will hear a little bit of it, and I imagine that the CDs are available,
That's right. That's right. You can get them at the International Services at Nye University Center, or even better, you can do
go
them
to,
at Kyle's concerts.
Or you can
All
go
right.
to www.horseshoeroad.net.
There you go.
And all of it, of course, pours
right.
back into
Study
our
abroad
main
scholarships.
goal.
Study abroad scholarships. right.
Well, I can't think of two better examples of creativity than you two, and
thank
thank you
you.
so much for gracing our set today.
Oh,
and
bless
come back
you.
and tell us some more wonderful international stories in a little while.
Well,
We've
why
got,
don't
we've got a
we?
ton of them.
Thank you. Earlier in our program, we visited with Kyle Dillingham and talked about the new song Argosy Overture. We couldn't close our creativity program today without sharing a little bit of Kyle's performance of this new music. Written by Callen Clarke, here is Kyle Dillingham and the UCO Symphony Orchestra.